be down, down. I'll be down. I'll be down, down. You are always down. You are always down for me. You are always down. You are always down for me. You are always down. You are always down for me. You are always down. You are always down for me. 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 Down for me.
What's up, guys? I'm here to talk about the market update this week. Wednesday, November 30th. We had a very busy day. We started off the morning. We had the ADP job report, which fell quite short. We only added 30,000 jobs last month compared to 230,000, which was expected. Hasn't been that low since January 2021, and so we did see SPY kind of slump a little bit in the morning. But that's also because of what happened at 1:30. That you have Joe Powell speaking, and every time he speaks, it seems to be such an influence in the market, especially today. Extraordinarily wild day. We saw 140 point um, move up in SPY from its low to the high, and even at closing, it's still maintained. It's 70 cents off its high. Um, so Powell pretty much stated today. I'm gonna get my chat. That they're talking about easing on rate hikes. So as early as December too, which definitely surprised me, seeing as we've only had one good CPI report. But the Feds know more than the rest of us. That's why they have the job that they do. Uh, so the expectation now is if we see another good CPI report, and again, I talked about that on Sunday, that we would possibly see another good CPI report just because we saw energy prices falling significantly in November. I'm sure you've noticed it when you've gone to fuel up at the gas tank. I sure have. So Wall Street, I haven't seen what they're expecting, but I'm gonna assume they're expecting 7.8%, and I think we'll see around 7.5%, which Joe Powell will in return give us a half point rate hike, which probably is now baked in with today's movement. So if we get that half point rate hike, I think it's extraordinarily expected now. So the markets won't be as nutty as they have in previous rate hikes, but I still think we'll see good news on the CPI, which will hopefully prop the market up. A lot of people are talking about a Santa Claus rally, and today was definitely what you could consider the start of it. So right off the top, we're gonna get into SPY, which let me change this to my 1 year, 1 day. So SPY today made a huge move. Let me get out of my supply demand tool. Made a huge move, and we actually have broken this downtrend, and we're looking to base above it. We got to 408.70, which is just shy of this gap. Oh, actually, it's not. No, it's not. It actually filled this gap. It was able to fill this gap, which we talked about on Sunday. In aftermarket, the low is 408.46. Thought it was 409. So this gap is filled, and now we're not only above the 200-day moving average, but we're also above the downtrend that we've been in all year. And we'll zoom in a little bit here. SPY really has been trading pretty much in a channel right now. If I can get my... I could have just used a channel tool, but that's okay. Sorry, I'm challenged. So SPY has been trading in this channel, and we had a significant move today. A lot of green volume. I would expect a little bit of a slowdown tomorrow, probably to come off this upper line and hopefully make a base over the downtrend in the 200-day SMA and not make a complete move back. That's something we don't want to see. But one thing that we were, or I haven't checked since last night, but it looks like the railway strike won't happen. Joe Biden asked Congress to step in, so that'll be interesting to see. It's understandable with inflation running rampant. And another thing about Powell's speech is he was very indifferent about everything. Talking about 2023 and how we're expecting higher rates and that we can now drop rates because inflation is getting under control, but we have a very long ways to go. It was a little bit of an indifferent speech, but um, yeah, uh, the railway strike. Geez, I got a lot off topic there. But the railway strike. So that's big. That's going to be avoided because then in January we could have seen the CPI skyrocket, and not only with the railway strike, but it's the COVID restrictions in China are starting to ease. They're starting to pull back, so it looks like the protests were not for naught. And hopefully, we won't have any supply chain issues there. The next stock I'm going to get into is Netflix. Netflix had the best day of the large caps. Netflix cruised today. If you look at just about all the morning, I'm going to scroll through them real quick, but all the large cap names this morning, at least the ones that I primarily follow, you can see they jumped open and then pretty much fell down each one of them and chopped until some of them made a move. Meta made a nice move today, even without CPI. Microsoft made a nice move. We talked about Microsoft. I'm going to take off my drawing set on Microsoft when we go through it. Apple had good day again. Started. They opened it high and then brought it lower and pretty much chopped it throughout the day. Nobody really knew what was going to go on with the Powell speech, but with Netflix, we've been out of the downtrend on Netflix, as you can see, but we are just trading pretty much in a channel right now. I'm going to change it to 90-day, 30-minute. So we are trading in a channel right now, as you can see, and this is like perfect example to use like supply and demand. That's something that I use greatly when I trade. So with Netflix now, we're gonna expect the rise into this 314 area to go into the supply move. Let me go to my So we can expect supply for Netflix to be in that 313, 314 range. And then we had our nice supply. You have your supply down here. So Netflix has that supply range at 314, and that's what we'll be looking to either go into and push further down and push down, or break through and have that become the demand zone. 314. What was I gonna say about Netflix? I'm completely drawing a blank right now. It's my first stream, so I'm a little nervous, you know. I'm gonna move on to Amazon for right now because I traded Amazon today. Amazon was one of my morning trades, and it's been something I've been looking at. So Amazon, perfect example. Supply and demand. We talked about this on Sunday about Amazon starting to curl possibly, that it was coming down off, some bad lows. They also had good news today. They reported the most Black Friday Cyber Monday sales ever, which is another topic for conversation that we'll get into at the end. But I played Amazon this morning off supply and demand. Um, so Amazon's really been trading in this range right here, the redeem supply. Obviously, it had that drop to the yearly low. Sorry. So today I ended up getting into Amazon calls when it came into my demand really early this morning. If you look on the 1 day 5 minute, and I ended up getting out on this quick dollar move, knowing that the markets were probably going to be choppy the rest of the day. That's what happens. That's what happened when the CPI comes out, the rate hike comes out. Like, the market is, you might get some moves in the morning, but then you just need to wait, because the market would just chop you out. Nobody will make money, and it's just not a good time. So Amazon was a good play today. I got it in the supply zone, and I sold, for a quick. It was like 25% gain, 30% gain. I actually ended up re-entering, but only making like 40% on the Joe Powell speech, which is kind of depressing. But it is what it is. There are people that made, um, 140 point sweep. I mean, that's crazy. Uh, I get in, like, you could get in, you could play if you had high conviction coming into some of these meetings. You could definitely, uh, if you wanted to go in heavier, then you would go into like SPY. But I would go into something Amazon when I'm trying to go in later, just because it won't have as much of a brutal movement as SPY will. Um, so yeah. Next we'll go into NVIDIA, which is coming up against the 200-day SMA on the 1 year, 1 day. And we're coming close to this downtrend. I gotta get out of the rectangle. So this downtrend trend line is right here at the 200-day SMA. You have really, like, you had a symmetrical triangle right here that formed and then broke today. Right, so lower highs, higher lows, and then we reached a point of impasse, which was today. At this point, tomorrow we're looking to break this high, and if we're able to break this high in the near future, we're looking to go against that downtrend line and the 200-day SMA. Even though the rate hike is baked in, it's still gonna hurt some of these tech stocks. It always hurts them the worst. So we're definitely we're entering in NVIDIA a supply zone as well. I'll talk about that a lot, just because that's what I like trading the most, is supply and demand. But everybody should trade their own trades and find your own niche. So on this, you can draw a clear demand zone right here, and then we have a clear supply zone here. I'm not gonna chart it just because it's gonna take me too long, because I'm slow today apparently. Meta, talked about that on Sunday. Going against the 50-day SMA, this is really beaten down. We talked about their cash on hand and obviously had a huge boost today. Everybody did. And now it's going to look to clear this high here at 118.74 and hopefully go in for the gap fill. Obviously, we're going to have a lot of resistance here at the 50-day SMA. So we'll be looking to see if it can get on top of the SMA and then be able to push towards that gap fill, and then definitely have to take it from there. That'd probably be a pretty good supply zone. Usually you get gap fills and then it comes back down the other way. For the most part, Tesla, we talked about Tesla, him and his feud with Apple. That was quite funny. But him and his feud with the Apple CEO, it seems like everything's good. Tesla, Twitter won't be removed from the App Store. I still have. So Tesla has clearly broken its downtrend, and we got past the five, what 20-day SMA. We got past the 20-day SMA today. Sorry. So we'll be looking to go for this high here at 279 and hopefully make a base over it so that we can start to push again for the other SMA. Breaking a lot of these stocks are breaking out of the downtrend, which is very good to see. This is just like not completely breaking out of the downtrend on the year. Obviously, we'd have like a long way to go for that, but it is breaking down out of the downtrend in this current phase. So Tesla will be looking for a boost. Google did really well today. Going in for this gap fill over here. May have cleared it today. 105.1. No, still about 4 points off. Google still has gap fill down here. Did it break downtrend? So Google is also coming up against the downtrend soon here. As you can see, it made a nice supply zone right here, right? So when we're doing supply zones, if you trade supply and demand, like this, the less time it spends in that zone, the better. These small wick downs here, like that's what you want to see. The more time it spends chopping in that zone, the worse it is for you, because it's more likely to break down. And then also remember that every time it comes to a supply zone or a demand zone, every time that supply zone and demand zone is getting weaker. And when a supply zone is first made, it is usually it can't be made unless it's been hit multiple times. So obviously it came down here, you had buyers that filled a lot of orders, but there were still orders left unfilled there by institutions and market makers. They can't just fill all their orders, or else they'll just shoot the price up and pretty much make no money themselves, because they'll be sending out market orders. So it had a good couple days, and then we come back to the supply zone. We tap it twice. Even today, without the Powell conference, like that's 9 to what, 1? That's 4 on the 4 hour chart. Like that's still like a terrific move off the supply zone. $2. I mean, if you're playing options, that's how I play supply demand zones. And obviously it's coming, right? Apple's coming into this demand zone now too as well. wonder if I can still get this on the 4 hour. Okay. So like right here, will end up becoming the demand zone now, for Google, because once the supply is broken, that becomes demand, and a new supply has to be tested. So here you have it again. You can, as a fly just goes past my face, we can chart supply, and it comes up and it comes into that demand multiple times before completely falling off the side of the edge. So we'll be looking to make that move to the 105 area where we have the demand zone and we also have the downtrend break, and we'll see if we'll be able to go higher than that. That's definitely going to be like a very, very strong number for Google. Microsoft, we talked about over the weekend, right? It had this, we had the, it's alright on this one. Right, we had the ascending triangle, and my line's not going to be perfect, but that's okay. So we had the ascending triangle essentially happening until, that's a little, we had the ascending triangle happening, no, that's right. So we had this ascending triangle happening, and we also this top base, again, I'm going to talk about supply and demand a lot. This top base becomes the supply level, right? This top base became the supply level during this trend, okay? And then we had the ascending wedge, and I had talked about it Sunday. We talked about that the break on the setup is what makes something bearish or bullish, not the setup. If you ask like 9 out of 10 traders, an ascending triangle is a bullish scenario, but we probably would have hit it without like the whole China news, because that like expanded outside of Apple and it really affected Microsoft bad. So that's why we had the break out of the ascending triangle, and where you can actually play puts on it, because everybody who entered that play for that move now is getting out because that move is dead. All right, their plan broke. And then we can talk about the supply. You can see clear supply. Supply levels, okay? And then we broke through, or I'm sorry, demand. This is demand level, right? We broke through this supply level, and now we'll be looking, what we're looking for next is the retest of that supply level. So we're looking for it to come back and hit this level right here and wick just like this, or have accumulation there and then the move up, so that can now become the next demand level. And then you look for the next supply level, either based off previous chart history, which we charted this. I mean, you could probably use this level right here as demand, if that becomes supply. So yeah, looking forward, again, we're looking for the bounce from 250. So we'll see on that. Apple opened a lot lower this weekend. This week for obvious reasons. You know, we had talked about the factory issues. Um, it it lost 12 points between Monday and Tuesday before coming back today and testing the what 50-day moving average. So we have Apple here, and we're looking for it to come into support over here. I'm pretty sure we do have a gap fill on Apple on the yearly chart as well. No, that got filled. No. No. Doesn't look like there's any noticeable gaps in the chart. There might be a small gap up here, but like that's a long ways out. Nothing for us to worry about. This gap right here got closed. No, no gap, but we'll be looking Apple. I gotta change my drawing. Apple will be looking to break out of this downtrend and hopefully base over it and then go for a test for 200-day SMA. This is obviously right here. That's 157 level, about nine points away. Is gonna be a tough level. So we'll definitely have supply there, a little bit under 160, 160 to 158. But before that, we're definitely looking to break out of this downtrend. Yeah. Activate. So Apple, we got about a 150 test for it to break the downtrend. 150, 151. Move on. I went over Microsoft. Did I go over NVIDIA? I think we went over NVIDIA. Netflix. Talked about Netflix. Netflix had a very good day. And went over Microsoft, went over Apple. QQQ, I'm not going to go over QQQ all that much. Some people trade it. I don't trade it all that much. I don't pay attention all that much to QQQ. I just started paying more attention to it. QQQ, obviously, I actually did get into one call today that I sold like super early on QQQ. That went like pretty crazy, but that's neither here nor there. So we have this channel that QQQ is trading in right now. Let's see what this number is right here. What we had 293. So QQQ broke through actually the previous high here. So we'll be looking for a base above it and a test downtrend. Downtrend break. Not really any. We do have a small gap here at what? 308.18. So that's about a 14-point move, which is definitely doable. But we'd have to break out of the downtrend in the 200-day SMA, which is going to be a tough level. So really from like 300 to 308, it's definitely going to be a tough level for QQQ. Most of these stocks, I mean, we're probably going to have the Santa Claus rally for the most part. And then I'll go over my last trade, which was Mio today. Mio, I day traded. The two ways I trade is I either trade off supply and demand, or I day trade the dip on stocks that have gone over 50 to 60% have traded the float at least once or twice. And I try to make key support areas and buy when I see the right opportunity. So MYO, whatever you want to call it. I did tweet about pre-market. I usually don't tweet my supply and demand. I only really tweet about my day trades. But hopefully when I'm streaming my trades, you guys can definitely see the supply and demand levels in real time. But I talked about I said at 80 cents. I really liked it, and literally like 30 seconds after I said it, my order got filled here at 80 cents. I saw that as strong support line, as it was a resistance line before that got overtaken, and you can see. I'm sorry, that's not where I got it in. This is where I got in, because I got in on the dip after. Alright, so I saw this as support. I got in at 0.8. It broke below this 50-day SMA. Well, it's like the 5-minute SMA when you're day trading on the daily. And it did hit. I was down like 5-6%. We always use like 2-to-1 risk reward. I did see that as a possible accumulation zone, but under 7.5, I would definitely get out, because then you have most likely the retractment to the 200-day SMA at like 0.70, and then you could possibly like re-enter the trade. But yeah, so it managed to hold the 7.5. I did sell a portion on the VWAP break at 8.8, and then I sold the portion at 9.25, and that was like the only day trade I really saw today. There hasn't been like a whole lot going on, but hopefully with the rate hike going down, inflation going down, we'll see the market start to come alive a little bit more. But that's going to be all I got right now. If anybody has any questions, definitely now would be a good time to ask. Or if you want like a chart looked over yourself, just let me know. This stream definitely was a little choppy. I apologize. It's my first time. Was definitely a little super nervous to get on here, and lost my talking points a couple times, but it's only up from here. So I just gotta come in with a little better plan. I had a good plan Sunday. I was streaming by myself, so I didn't have to worry about anything. Bryce. All right. Well, thank you guys for checking out the stream. I appreciate it. We'll be back here Friday, and we'll see you then. I see now, feelings surrounding me, and I'm slowly finding out it's right in front of me. No longer a mystery. I see now, feelings surrounding me, and I'm slowly finding out it's right in front of me.
the pain that I remember. I bet all the levels got the treasure. I never felt this energy before. Yeah, I know it's a type of thing can last forever. Limitless, I know I can do better. I got the key and I'm slowly finding out. Oh yeah, it's right in front of me. No longer a mystery. I see now, feel it surrounding me, and I'm slowly finding out. It's right in front of me. No longer